Hey, this is Notser, and today we're continuing our exploration of the recently buffed upgrades. We are taking a look at the turret traverse module equipped to the Zao. This is the tier 10 Japanese cruiser, and it's one of the candidates that is most appropriate for this module because it deals with a lack of turret traverse. It always has, it's always a trait that it's always had to deal with, and prior to 9.1's buff of the turret traverse module, you would have to give up on your damage per minute if you were facing off against a target. But no longer, that penalty is gone. The reload nerf is not attached to it. It is only a buff to your turret traverse. And it seemingly makes the Zao so much more enjoyable to control. Now, because it is one of those ships that's on the edge of being out of control when you're actively using your runner. You know, so many times, I'm sure many Zao commanders can relate to this, so many times you're having to maneuver your ship away from the target or incoming, and in the same motion, your turrets are unable to keep up, so they just gradually work themselves where they can't shoot at anything, and it's on you to decide if you want to try and line up your shot and give broadside for longer than you're comfortable with, or continuously actively maneuver and ultimately not do any damage. So this is what it's trying to address. Keeping the guns hot for as long as possible and actually actively maneuvering as good as you possibly can. If you can do both of those things as a cruiser, you can rack up a ton of damage. So, obviously early stages of the game, nobody's died yet. We are in a good position to support our team's effort at C point. We are spotted by something, easily a DD that's just outside of smoke, and I would love to shoot this guy. But, obviously if we openly fire, well, then there's probably more detection. What if the enemy goes back into smoke? That was what I was thinking. Now, I was noting my teammate. He did get into a position that was slightly inconvenient for me. Initially, I wanted to send torpedoes. Makes sense. And normally, sending torpedoes, I could not keep my guns pointed in the same direction that I was actually sending torpedoes if I was actively maneuvering the butt area of the Zao towards them. Obviously, because you have to point the butt at the target, this play doesn't happen as often as a lot of Zao captains wish it would. And we do end up showing a little bit too much side to our opponent, which is okay. Put my fire out with damage control, fire on the enemy Fletcher, and it wasn't too hard to fire on him. We actually set him on fire. Is he going to burn down? No, he's not going to burn down, but someone could shoot him again. And we are looking to maneuver away while all this is going on. Friendlies take out the target. That's good. Ooh, the gearing. Oh, the gearing. He can't do anything, man. He is beyond dead. There's no way. Absolutely no way. We're just going to fire on the other ship and just watch as our torpedoes just slam into the side of his hull. He's trying. Yeah, not enough, but we actually land our shells on the free zone and get a double strike somehow. And it's a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. Having the chance to use your torpedoes, have the rudder moving in the opposite direction while the turrets are traversing in a different direction entirely was nearly impossible. If I was going to do that without the enhanced turret traverse or expert marksman, I would basically not be able to shoot my guns or not be able to shoot my torpedoes. It's always frustrating. It's always been frustrating on the Zao, but seemingly with this upgrade installed, less so. It feels like I can more reliably fire my guns on cooldown. I can more reliably incorporate some butt torpedoes into my play without completely throwing off every other system that the ship has to offer. So this is really exciting for me. Back in the day, I used to play the Japanese cruisers all the time. Mogami, the Stealth Fire Zao, whenever that was the case. Have always enjoyed the Japanese cruiser torpedoes, but for the Zao, 8 kilometers at least, initial offering wasn't very good. 12-kilometer range, better, and you could still fire those. But if you were to use those torpedoes, you have to basically aim your butt at the enemy. And when you're aiming your butt at the enemy, it's hard to keep your guns on target because they just traverse really slow. I think the turret traverse I had before this was like 32 seconds. But with the equipment on it, I think it's like 29 seconds or 28. It is a much more manageable speed. It's obviously not the fastest. There's plenty of heavy cruisers at this tier that have faster turret traverse. But it's fast enough that you can incorporate active dodging and continuously fire on cooldown at that same target. Couldn't do that before. You had to do one or the other. So obviously, enemy Henri, he's going to keep firing on us. He's firing AP. Because he's firing AP, we're going to obviously active maneuver, just as we are a battleship. It would ever do. Turn in, turn out, and continue firing. Now, I could try AP, but I am not confident in my AP at this distance. I would just like to rely on my HE. But the Henri is very quick, so you have to give lots of lead in order to actually land shells on him, but we're doing okay. And while all this is going on, there's a couple enemy cruisers that might be getting into position west of B. I could have to contend with that, but we're doing fine right now. It doesn't seem that anyone else is shooting us, and the Henri even seems like he's disappointed that he has to shoot us, so he shot someone else. That's cool with me. I guess I don't have to worry too much about that. And I am checking my priority target every time, and there we go, nice little fire. There is an Edinburgh that you can see on the minimap going towards B, and I contemplated, and obviously the Puerto Rico is pretty low. I contemplated, incoming AP shell, turn towards it. I contemplated firing at the Henri until the Edinburgh was broad, then switching to AP and blapping him. Surprise. That's what I was hoping to do. And we are working the Henri down so slow. It's painful how slow this is taking. We can't even hit him there. And figure, okay, let's just drop off detection. 9.9 concealment. An advantage of the Zao that you don't get to explore that frequently because, you know, there's no other reason than just fire your guns. But here, I could send my torpedoes at the Edinburgh. And in fact, that seems like a really good plan. So while we're doing that, we're going to have our turrets traverse into position. And in the past, trying to go left with your ship and right with your turrets is just an awful, awful mess. It's just not, it's not fun. With this, I can send my torpedoes. The front guns basically stay on target. The back guns obviously are rotating. And we don't have to worry about anything else here. Isn't this great? The fact that my front guns weren't just edging themselves all the way forward and I couldn't, match my rudder, it was just infuriating all the time in the Zao. But it seems that it can match that fast rudder. Now, if it was a faster rudder, if I did like double rudder, probably not. But your average rudder, yeah, you can keep up now that you couldn't before. So we had AP loaded for the Edinburgh. Figure the torpedoes will get him eventually. He returns fire, although he does return fire with AP, and that's a nice little salvo. Enemy Edinburgh moves out of danger just in the nick of time, and we are still dealing with this guy, but we have great angle. So the AP should really drop in its damage on our ship, and he's softening it too much. This could be the AP blap out of existence. It looks good. It feels good. See you later, Henri. And still great angle. And the guns seemingly did not ever let us down. They were always on target, and I could always reliably activate them. Now we're, of course, trying to engage that Ember. It can keep up. The back guns are kind of catching up, but they can't speed forward so that they can actually shoot this guy. So we're just dealing with the fact that they're still traversing. Teammates are trying to take him out quickly, and it does look like they're doing a good job. He is pretty soft angle-wise to me, and I figure, okay, they're killing him so fast. Let's just hold our fire and do that. Now, any more? What are other comments and questions? People have asked me, obviously aiming systems is the go-to. So you're recommending not using it. I'm recommending on ships where turret traverse is a limiting factor, you should consider the turret traverse upgrade. It's going to help you more than aiming would, because in those situations where the turrets can't keep up, that's damage lost on the target. And if you are trying to keep your guns on the target, you are reducing your ability to maneuver. So it's a loss either way. It's a loss in your defensive and it's a loss in your offensive. So just like concealment, turret traverse keeps that unlocked the whole time. And that's why I think that this is the right direction to go, not only on the Zao, but honestly on a lot of cruisers, because cruisers, more than any other ship class, actively maneuvers. They're obviously not battleships, but they're pretty healthy in their tankability and their recovery, especially at tier 9 and 10. So to make that better is an exciting prospect. Plus, 9.2, we're going to get cruiser armor buffs. So the only thing we're going to have to give up is the fire chance coupling with IFHE, but for heavy cruisers, pretty much irrelevant outside of, I think, the Henri and the Hindenburg. Those are the two that come to mind that would possibly go IFHE. This feels great, though. It's such a pleasure to control a ship where I feel comfortable playing it. There's so many ships where the turret traverse is so uncomfortable, like the Shimakaze, the Japanese, horrible for that. There's a great big battleship, the Yamato, horrible for that. You have to just wait on the guns while you're performing whatever maneuver, and by the time the guns get in position, it's pretty much over. And we detonated the Shima, enemy incoming. We did a pretty good job of wiggling to shoot him, but also consider incoming shells. Now we're just going to get some distance on them. Obviously, the torpedoes not going to hit anything. There's nothing to hit anymore. And these guys are just seemingly camping on the corner, hoping to, get a kill on maybe me or a friendly DD that happens to show himself. And as I get distance, I'm at an advantage here because I can reliably maneuver. I have great rudder. I mean, the legendary helps with that as well. So it's just a win-win. When I play like this, I just feel like I'm dictating so much more, and I'm also defending so much more. And I think that's the best of both worlds, of course. And we're just trying to get this Yoshino down. We've got good HE on him. No fire yet, unfortunately. I am considering turning back towards him. But it does look like he wants to continuously engage me. The super cruisers are also candidates for faster turret traverse as well, because they are an example of a ship that the turrets do not keep up with the rudder. As long as that's the case, you're missing out on maneuvering and damage. That's the facts. And oh gosh, we're so close to killing this guy. Doesn't look like he kind of drops off. Shima point blanks the Linen. Oh, we got more damage on this Yoshino. I am showing my side. I don't care. The gun's easily able to keep up with the rudder. If you've never played the Zao, you don't understand how annoying it is, and it's always there. But in this game, it wasn't. It just wasn't. It was like magic. It was like, okay, we got just enough speed that I can reliably keep it on target. So we're just going to bump into this island. Probably going to be the end of the game. It was a pretty close game at one point, but fell up to pieces for them, and we got Kraken Unleashed, which is great. I can't believe we got a double strike on those DDs. And yeah, really, really happy with this. I love the way it played out. I can't wait to play more of the Zao with this build. I have literally no bad things to say. It's just more reliable. It lets you reach the full potential with your gun reload and, your ballistics and your torpedo systems and your angled armor. It's a win. It's absolutely a win. Now, other ship classes that I've been working on with this, French DDs, Japanese DDs, Japanese battleships. We've got obviously Japanese cruisers are slower than average. The Henri is a slower than average example. The Soviet cruisers also deal with slow turret traverse. Hell, I've even put it on my Des Moines and my Goliath, two ships that don't need it. But by having that faster turret traverse, it allows you to be so much more aggressive in maneuvering. And on something like the Des Moines and the Goliath, that gives you so much extra armor in some of these matchups with certain battleships and certain cruisers, because you'll always have the best angling, because you can return back to a perfect angle state and still continuously fire on them and beat them in damage per minute. We got 5 kills, 2300 base XP, not half bad. I can't wait to show off more ships where this is beneficial. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily Notser videos, first impression, how-to, news, and review related. My North America recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.